sports listeners. I'm your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday.
This whole hour of Santa Barbara teen athletes. Woo! And we're talking all athletes. Hello, you've landed on Teen Sports Radio. Good morning. Another beautiful 9 a.m. in the morning in sunny California, Santa Barbara. We're going to get right to it. We have a huge show. I'm not even going to get to who's in the house because Shakir Ahmad is going to do us a royal recap. San Marcos High School. Let's get to it, Shakir.
All righty. Hello. Not as much to talk about as like the previous weeks because we just came back from Thanksgiving break and not too many sports have passed since, but I'll talk about what I can. So like I said, Thanksgiving break just passed, and last week boys basketball had a game against Buena and we won 60-73. So props to us. Little shout out. Then also on top of that, wrestling had a tournament in Canyon Springs where a couple of them placed in the top 5. And I just want to give a shout out to wrestling because they go hard in like a stinky room for consecutive hours, like every day with their practices. I couldn't live with that. Like it stinks. Like you walk by their room, it smells like death in there. So props to them. They need a shout out. Like they put in so much work. But going into this week, girls basketball had 2 games. No wins quite yet, but definitely improvement and adjustments made from the first to second game. And they just have a lot of bright spots and potential with them. And I'm excited to see how they progress this season. Boys soccer, they had their first game, I think Tuesday against Newberry Park. They won 3-1. I think they're going to have a pretty solid season. They look like they're doing really good. And girls water polo, they dominated Ventura as well at home yesterday. And I'm projecting this year they're going to destroy every team in the league. And they're going to make a run at CIF, maybe even win that. Who knows? But I'm excited to see how they do as well. And lastly, boys basketball had a tournament in Simi Valley this week. Tuesday's game did not go to plan. I'm going to leave it at that. But yesterday's game, lots of improvements. We ended up not winning that game as well against Viewpoint. But they're a high-level team, high-ranking team. And for the most part, we just did like a lot better. We led that game for the most part. We just need to figure out how to finish better. But I'm looking forward for the rest of this week. We got Westlake tonight and Oaks Christian on Friday. So hopefully we can get a couple wins out of those, turn the tables for us. And that's for the most part. That's all the sports. But quickly, this week's McDonald's Athlete of the Week, boys basketball very own Aiden Mandel. So shout out to him as well. And that's all I got.
Okay, so you got grades too, right? Shakir, what's your GPA?
4.5.
4.5. Well, in the house we got Raya Carpinter. Okay, owns BalancedCollegePlan.com. What do you think about our Shakir, Raya?
He's super impressive. Knocked my socks off.
Nice.
I mean, you nailed it.
Nice.
Great personality. Got everything going on.
Yeah, Shakir, I loved what I would call positive scanning. Like you were noticing where teams were improving and making adjustments. And like, even if things didn't go to plan, you were noticing where they were focusing on learning and adapting. So thank you for that.
That's Dr. Amy Saltzman in the house. Okay. Also a collegiate athlete, Stanford. All right. MD, we're trying to raise the bar here, Shakir. We got to keep up with you. We have Dave also with the Elks, Dave Bianchi. How you doing, Dave? Elks, what do you think about Shakir?
Outstanding. Great report.
This is going to be all about you right now, Shakir. See that?
I know, this is so much.
Not like you need any more building up, but when I look around the room and everybody's mouth is dropped because it's like, holy cow, this guy is on point. Hey, Richard, you've only said twice in 12 years something about this gentleman we have in the house. What did you say about it? If you ever wanted a what? Like maybe do a what?
If he ever wants a radio job, he's got the voice for it, and we'll get him trained.
Woo! There you go. There you go. I like it. See that? Kristine, come on. Pull a card for Shakir. It doesn't get any better.
Okay. Pull a card for Shakir.
Shakir, tell her, ask her.
Prince of Pentacles. That means he's moving forward. He's about to take off. You see that bull getting ready to take off, and that's very material. That's travel. That's like really, if princes are mastering their element to become kings. So you're just about to take off, Shakir.
Hey.
I wanted to say too, I love the way that you reframe things, the way you frame, just as a nod to what Dr. Amy said, the way you frame the sports and looking at it, that's really creating even more success. So I just really appreciate how you do that.
Okay, we're gonna take a little break, but Don Sanders has something to say.
Yep. I was reading an article from the Washington Post talking about competition is about we, not I. And they're talking about how excellence and, finding your way to do your best and helping lift others up is a better life strategy in the long run, and also helps in terms of, having a successful sports team or whatever kind of endeavor you're in. And this social psychologist from Ohio State, she says, it's great to have a desire to win, but as long as you're not elbowing another guy into the ditch, kind of thing. So they're saying that she says, she talks about ego-centric versus extrinsic. And so when you're looking to improve and lift everybody up with you, then that's competition at its finest. It's creating some value. But when it's just about, you got to beat that other guy, instead of experiencing satisfaction in the long run, a lot of people feel emptiness. So it was great. This was in a paper called the World Tribune. Their banner is Voice of Courage and Hope. I used to work for the paper. And I just think it's a nice reminder. There's some summary points. They say, focus on a goal about self-mastery rather than beating others. Watch the language you use around competition. Consider the difference between your outcome goals and your purpose. And most importantly, probably for everything as a life skill, practice gratitude.
Yay! On that, let's do this. We got Raya Carpinter after these messages. Thanks, everybody. We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salter, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio. If you're just joining us, I am Raya Carpinter, owner of Balanced College Planning. And so today I thought I would highlight a very important topic in college admission. Money. Sound good? Talking about money? All right. So, families are wise to consider their return on investment, right? Especially with the total cost of attendance approaching $80,000 a year at some schools. You heard me right. $80,000 a year at some schools. Woo. So there are tools that you can use to evaluate the value of a college, but it does take some time. So I'm just going to throw some tips your way. You could, look at the average number of years it takes to earn a bachelor's degree. Of course, some schools actually promote that they guarantee you'll finish in 4 years, whereas others have a track record of getting you out in 5 to 6 years. So, doing the math on this certain tuition at 4 years versus this certain tuition at 5 to 6 years. Some schools will actually even offer you the opportunity to earn a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in only 5 years, where normally it would take you 6 years, 4 years for your bachelor's and 2 years for your master's. They call these the 4+1 program. So if you're thinking of going after a master's, check out 4+1 opportunities. You could also research the quality of the career services available on campus, obviously, to see if they're going to be helping you springboard into your career when you graduate seamlessly. You could also look at alumni relations. So, what are going to be my networking opportunities when I graduate? What's the average salary for graduates? What's the percentage of students employed or in graduate school within, 6 months of graduation? And, what percentage of students are engaged in internships? So, really looking at what's the payoff going to be from attending one school versus another? What is their track record? Mm-hmm. And related to that, I think most of us know this by now, what you major in can also play a role in your investment paying off. So STEM majors, of course, are known for this. But having said that, we all want our kids to love what they do, right? And make a livable wage. So to try and combine those two things, one of my favorite tools that I want to tell you about today to research careers and potential majors in helping you, plan for having that education pay off in the end, is looking at the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And you can find this at bls.gov/OOH. So at this website, you can see the earning potential for certain jobs, the educational requirements, the working conditions, and something that's often overlooked is the projected growth rate over the next several years. So, I always tell my students it's fine to pick a career with slower than average expected growth in the future. But if you're going to go down that path, you should definitely be thinking about, how are you going to stand out from the crowd? What extra skills do you need? Or experience or education that's going to make you competitive in a field that might not be growing as fast. So, yeah.
Can I ask a question? So if you were focused on computer technologies and you're really interested in AI, what would you be looking for in this document to help you figure out what school and maybe how much you should be willing to pay for your education?
So the Occupational Outlook Handbook is really well designed. It's actually, deceiving in its name called handbook. It's not really a handbook, if you will. You could actually look at computer science as a career or, ag business as a career, and you click on that link to that particular career, and it's going to take you, bam, right to that. It then opens up a document, and right in that one document for that one particular career gives you all the details. So you don't have to go digging through a monster, handbook to find the information. It's very user-friendly. And I think sometimes they even have links to videos in there, so you can, hear from people in industry, about their working conditions and tips for being competitive, things like that. Great question.
Can you give me the website again?
Sure. It's bls.gov/OOH. So that is, again, the Occupational Outlook Handbook. All right. So I did go off on a little bit of a tangent there with, career research and all that. I do want to get back to the actual cost of attendance at college. So are we good to keep going? Do we need to take a break?
Go.
All right, let's do this.
I do want to say one real quick, Ryan. The problem that I have, not a problem, but my kids' generations are 30 and 27. And there was such a pressure, to get in teen athletes. And I hung out with that group of people. And unless you received a scholarship, I was the contrarian and say, look, at the end of the day, you drag $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 worth of debt, you can kiss mathematically, you can't pay that back. Okay. So I tell people, and then all of a sudden we had the Promise program. And I was a big thing when City College, and I don't know what they're ranked this year, but they were ranked number 1 in the country. Okay. So, and that's the route that my second son, John, took after looking at his brother who got the scholarship, went to Hawaii Pacific, blew out his shoulder, had surgery here in California. His career was over, ended up never finishing college, but he's very successful in his own right. You don't have to have a college degree. I mean, in certain things that you end up in. But the young one, he had a different road, and it was just you have a choice. This is your thing. I'm going to help you as much as I can. But he did the 2 years CC. Then at the end, when he did get that bigger scholarship. He ended up getting a better, bigger scholarship by doing the 2 years first because he got bigger, better, stronger. And then the scholarship he got for the last 2 years cost me, he got food, he got everything because he never got a B in college in the first 2 years. It cost me $265 a month for holy names. So I said, I believe early bird gets the worm, but sometimes second mouse gets the cheese. You see? So, you know what I mean? So the turtle sometimes can win the race. And I really lay it out with the finances. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree. And, just to kind of clarify for folks who haven't heard of this before. So the Santa Barbara City College has what's called the Promise program. It is 2 years free for students who have attended high school in Santa Barbara County. Hello, free college, 2 years. That's incredible. And then on top of that, the chances of gaining admission to a UC, for example, a real selective UC, the chances of getting admitted straight out of Santa Barbara City College is going to be significantly higher than getting admitted directly out of high school. So it's a win-win. You can save a ton of money and you can increase your chances of being admitted to a wider range of schools, similar to what you were talking about with your son, Erica. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Isn't
go ahead.
Isn't Santa Barbara City College considered one of the top community colleges in the country?
Yeah, so as Erica was saying, they were at one point ranked number one in the nation. And I mean, come on. Ocean View, and they have a ton going for them. So they do
Bishop football on Fridays. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing about City College that people who are outside of Santa Barbara don't realize, UCSB professors will frequently teach courses at SBCC out of enjoyment of a topic and wanting to interact with students in a slightly different way that's available on an SBCC campus.
Yeah. And the other thing that, folks may not be aware of is they have what are called transfer guarantees. They're referred to as tags with certain UCs. Not all of them participate, but of course, UCSB is one of those schools that does participate. So if you want to eliminate the stress of, will I get in, you can do these transfer guarantees through Santa Barbara City College and, have tons of confidence that it's all going to play out the way you want. So
I proudly have my Westmont degree in my office, and it's economics and business. And I show everybody, look, Westmont. And you just get this thing that I was there for 4 years. Not true. I played ball at Harbor College. I played ball at Long Beach State. And then I played soccer at Westmont. You don't turn the degree on the back and show all of your undergraduate education. You see what I'm saying? So when you have a degree from UCLA, Stanford, Columbia, whatever, that's what it is at the end. It's where you land at the very end. So I tried to explain to people, I said, look, you're going to drag $60, $80, $100,000 in debt just because you want to say you went to school for 4 years and never own a home. That's okay. That's your journey. Okay. That's right. How I look at it. If your parents can't pay, think about it, in that realization, and don't be peer pressured into anything else, because money at the end of the day matters.
So Ryan, what do you tell kids about money, college money?
Yeah, great question. And so what I want to do is throw a few tips at you because there are some tricks. So Erica, you already threw out a huge value in looking at the Promise program. So that's tip number one. But, most colleges, they of course will have a financial aid webpage. And so what I encourage people to do is look for what's called the total cost of attendance, right? Pretty obvious. How much is it going to cost me? Now, of course, nearly everyone doesn't pay the full price. And so we're going to get into that. But when you're looking at the total cost of attendance on a financial aid webpage, be very careful that you're looking at the full picture. Does it actually include all of the anticipated costs? Number one. Mm-hmm. And then also, is the total for one semester or for 1 year, right? So just make sure you're capturing the full picture there. So it's obvious that you want to know how much it's going to cost without discounts. But what is even more important is, what am I going to pay after the discount, right? And so discounts come in the form of need-based aid and merit-based aid. So to help you figure out if you qualify for discounts, the federal government actually requires all colleges to have a tool to estimate that discount and then whatever your remaining expenses would be. So this tool is called the net price calculator. And to find this tool, you can simply do an internet search, Villanova University net price calculator. Or you can just go to the financial aid webpage on the college website and look for the net price calculator. So in the net price calculator, you're going to put in some basic info about your income, assets, GPA, test scores, and so on. And the net price calculator is going to give you a rough estimate of what you'll be able to expect in terms of discounts. These are otherwise known as scholarships or grants. All right, so pop quiz, I said it a bunch of times. What is this tool called?
Net price calculator.
Net price calculator. So, all right. So do we have some time for me to go a little bit deeper?
Yeah, you know what we're going to do? Plus I know we have a bunch of questions for you, Raya. So Let's take a little break. Everybody fill up their coffee, and we'll be right back after these messages.
You're simply the best.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio. I'm Raya Carpinter, owner of Balanced College Planning. All right, so we were talking about financial aid, and we were just getting into the topic of need-based aid versus merit-based aid. So, of course, need-based aid, do you need the money based on your family income, your family assets, and in some cases, your expenses? Merit-based aid, this is where athletics comes into play, or an artistic talent, or GPA, and sometimes test scores, right? So merit versus need. And so to see if you qualify for need-based aid, you would complete the FAFSA, and that's in 12th grade. So any seniors listening out there, the deadline to complete the FAFSA is March 2nd. And some scholarship programs actually require you to complete the FAFSA. So, if you're looking for scholarships beyond the government money, think about doing this application. I always recommend that families fill out the FAFSA as soon as it opens. It opens October 1 of 12th grade. So you can be working on this right now. And where you're going to go is fafsa.ed.gov, fafsa.ed.gov. And then for students who qualify as non-residents under AB 540, instead of doing the FAFSA, you would do the DREAM Act. And if you're not sure if that applies to you, simply ask your school counselor and they'll tell you which form is right for you. And then just one last form that sometimes people don't find out about until it's too late is called the CSS profile. And this one gets more into what are your family expenses. And that's your best chance at trying to get as much money as possible under the need aid CSS profile. And again, you would do this in 12th grade. All right. Am I putting you to sleep yet?
No. It's important because I got to say, and you know Lori Cortez really well. And I went to school. She was my son's, teachers. And when she started college coaching, I was like one of her early clients way back in the day. And I tell you, I think a college coach, and kudos to you, Ryer, and people like yourself that help us through this process, because anytime when we got to that 11th, 12th grade, I hired Lori, and it was like, that's a Lori question. I got off the hook. The only thing they needed was a credit card. It was perfect, but it was really good to find that money. Right. Joe got extra money, writing essays to holy names. And it was great. The money that he ended up capturing paid for Lori. And it was nice. And I was stress-free. I like those. So I can't have stress, Raya. Raya, you know me. You see that picture behind Kristine? Okay, Dr. Amy could analyze that. I did that. That's what's going on in my brain. I know, it's amazing. But that's what's in my head. So I can't take stress, Raya. Dr. Amy has something.
Dr. Amy doesn't accept a smile and some gratitude and a reminder that, as Raya's company's called, balance and breathing and gentleness and self-compassion and a sense of humor during this process will make it so much better.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that is so beautiful. Thank you. I feel like you just saw into my soul there. So just, okay, last trick I want to throw your way for the day. And this is getting to that value paying off. So yeah, I mean, people like me, consultants, we're here to help reduce your stress and to help you feel empowered and informed, but you can do this on your own too. And that's why I wanted to share these, tips with you today. You can do this. And so the quick and dirty of getting the most merit scholarship aid, and that comes from the college itself, is to look for schools where the average student who got in the year prior has a GPA well below yours. So when you apply, they're like, hey, we really want this student, and we're going to throw as much money as we can at you in an effort to get you to a 10. Make sense?
Nice.
So
yeah.
So the bottom line,
got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the bottom line is you have the potential of getting paid for better grades, right?
Nice.
And also just a side note here, larger merit scholarships tend to come from private schools. There are some public schools that offer merit scholarships, but so don't disregard private schools because they may have more money to throw your way. All right. Lay it on me. What questions do you have for me?
Christine.
I'm inspired to ask about the trades. We're talking about city college, community colleges. I know that I was an early childhood educator. They have an incredible early childhood ed program there, and I'm sure that they have other trade programs. What do we say to kids who would want to go to community college to learn a trade versus continuing on to 4-year university?
Kristine, it's a great question, and it's a really important question. And that's really one of the things I think that City College in general does best, is preparing people to learn a specific skill and get out and start working. And so you can go to City College for 2 years and work on a transfer degree and go work towards your bachelor's, or you can go to City College for a short period of time. Maybe you go for an 18-month certificate program as an example. Automotive technology is an example. I know somebody who went through recently that did welding, underwater welding, right? Which, I always joke about underwater basket weaving. Underwater welding is a thing, and it's a great career opportunity in Santa Barbara, working on the ships, for example. And then another example I'll throw out at you is like Oregon Tech is a school that focuses a lot on trades. Now they do provide bachelor's degrees, but they also, give you the opportunity to learn a skill in, for example, being going into radiology, technician. And your earning potential in those fields and the demand for people in those fields is huge. And so if you know that you want to get in, learn a skill and get out and get to work, frankly, I would push you back toward that occupational outlook guide, because it's going to give you information about earning potential, growth, and all of that, and the educational requirements. So you can see quickly, what schools may be best for you if you're looking for a specific trade. And then the last thing I would say is there are some trade schools that are amazing where they're just designed for becoming a medical technician or a dental assistant. However, they can be for profit and they can be expensive. And so don't overlook your local city college for the free opportunities to learn a trade.
Nice. Yay! Thank you so much, Raya.
You're welcome.
Yeah, if anybody doesn't have anything else to say, what we'll do, we'll take a little break right now. This is Erica Solo, the Queen of Teen. We'll be back with a lot more after these messages.
Well, now together we will stand, every boy, girl, woman, and a man.
back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salter, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m. Okay, so for 12 years now, we've had relationships with our community leaders and nonprofits. One of the nonprofits that we've had since day one is the Elks. And a lot of people, when they hear Elks, they really don't have any idea what the Elks has done for this community. And I am a proud Elk, and I have had many friends. I participated in a lot of their events going back for when I was at Westmont. So I want to enjoy right now. Let's give a very warm introduction and welcome to Dave Bianchi. Dave, how are you, my love? I tell you,
Thank you for having me on the program.
Of course. Every year we like to give you the floor. You have provided an amazing opportunity for our teen athletes. And I'm going to let you tell the story of when you became an Elk, how you got involved in this program, and then you'll tell us about the program. Okay. So Dave, take it away.
Wonderful. Yes, I've been an Elk for quite a while. But more importantly, for the last 18 or 19 years, I've been running or working with this national youth activity that the Elks sponsor, and it's called Hoop Shoot, which is a basketball free throw contest. And it's open to all boys and girls ages 8 through 13. And we're excited to say that we're going to have an open invitational contest coming up at the Page Youth Center this December 19th in the afternoon. So we would like to invite all boys and girls who are age 8 through 13 on April 1st of next year. That's the criteria. Are welcome to come by. It's free. It's fun. It's a program that's been going on now in a national level for 50 years.
Now, I'm really excited because I actually know a couple of the boys. I grew up with my sons. So my sons now are 27 and 30. But why don't we name some local champs?
Oh, we've had several. We've had 4 local champs advance all the way to the national finals. In 1987, we had a young girl from St. Raphael School, Kristine went back.
That's right, St. Raphael's.
That's it. She placed fourth, I think it was 4th place. In 2007, Ben York from Kellogg went back and placed 5th.
Yeah.
We've had Joseph Tallarico, 2018. From Goleta Valley Junior High at the time, go back, and he placed 4th place nationally. This is a tremendous accomplishment.
Yeah, it was great. Ben played baseball with my youngest.
Oh my!
It was yeah. So yeah, we followed him, and then I was behind him. Ooh, it was awesome. Very exciting. A lot of pressure. I think he missed one. I think he. And the funny thing is these national champs, I mean, they make 50, 60, 70 in a row. It's like, it's amazing. Talk about the muscle memory. We got Dr. Amy talking about that muscle memory. How does that happen?
Well, actually, what I was going to talk about was that there's data to show that practicing mindfulness, which is what I teach to people from 3 to 93, especially athletes looking to achieve peak performance and find flow, that there's data to say that mindfulness actually enhances your free throw percentage. So if you practice mindfulness, you will enhance your free throw percentage.
Wow. Okay. So we'll do this. Dave, if you ever get somebody from this city to crush it, we are going to get some mindfulness training because we want to win a national championship. This is the year. I'm feeling it. We've got Dr. Amy. We've got the whole team together. We've got Lights. We've got Tiro. We've got what Richard. Wellness. We have wellness. We can spell wellness. All right. Let's do it. So how did you first get involved with the Elks, Dave? So did you just go to their, that 5,000 square dance floor? Was it the salad bar? What was it?
Kind of all of the above, but no, really, I was interested in doing more for the community, just helping out and seeing where I could volunteer. And the Elks, as a rule, that's exactly what they do. There's so much that they provide and give to the community. And it's so much of a fun and rewarding to be part of that. So that's how I got involved.
Nice. And how many years have you been together with them?
I've been an elk now for 46 years.
46 years.
I don't look it, I know.
Well, you know, you look fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So we still have a little bit of time. And will you come back again and let us know what's going on and do a little update?
I will.
All right. Perfect. All right. Let's take another little break. All right. We've got a lot of show left right after these messages.
Brazil. Back in the USSR. Way down in LA. Every day, dancing in the street. Crossing China too. Me and you, dancing in the street.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salt, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio. This is Kristine Marie with a view from the deck. And I am still working with these 15 commitments of conscious leadership. I really want to talk today about commitment 4, which is speaking candidly. The truth, the sentence that's above the line is, I commit to saying what is true for me. I commit to being a person to whom others can express themselves with candor. And below the line is, I commit to withholding my truth, facts, feelings, things I imagine, and speaking in a way that allows me to try to manipulate an outcome. I commit to not listening to the other person. So this is really a chapter about telling the truth. And sometimes telling the truth is a vulnerable place to be. What I thought was really wonderful about this book, they talk about, telling the truth. And, it's really good to do that in a commitment where other people are telling the truth so that you all know, what you're committing to. Because I have throughout my life as a young person, as an older person, almost always been someone who told the truth and stuck my neck out. And, it just is the way that it is and who I am. And I've lived a life of incredible joy and incredible transition because of those things. But it's okay, because I speak what's true for me and I honor other people's truths. But what I thought was really powerful about this also was there are two things. One that applies for what we were talking with Shakir, which is the team that sees reality the best wins. And they talked about a team because we all see our own version of reality. And when people are willing to speak up their truth about their reality, and there's enough people, you really get that perspective. I think we did talk a bit about this last time, but I really wanted to get a little deeper into it because they talked about these 3 circles of candor, which are truthfulness, openness, and awareness. So if it's truthful, say I had to be at work at 8 a.m., I didn't get there till 8:15. Someone asked me when I got in, I said 8:15, right? I'm going to be truthful. Anything else, I'm not being truthful. But let's say my clock was broken and I saw it 8:15, but it was only 8:40. And I said 8:15. So I was truthful, I was open, but I wasn't aware that my time was off, right? So it's this kind of threefold way of looking at things where, we say what we need to say, or we say what's in our reality. We say everything we need to say. And then we say, and we're aware of what there is that we need to see about it. So it's truthfulness, openness, and awareness. And I found that was really, it just moved me today, when I was reviewing things. And, sometimes, practicing truthfulness is being willing to say things that people don't always want to hear and sitting in that discomfort and, or in the possibility of discomfort. I say to people very often, all I want to know is the truth. Please don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Please tell me what your truth is so that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a nice way of saying that.
Yeah. And it can be such a difficult thing, especially if you're in a place of power. If you're empowered, I'm a supervisor and I'm starting to work, just to discuss this with my staff and really saying, this is what I'm committed to. And I really would appreciate the truth. I can't force anybody to do anything. I'm just going, this is how I'm going to do it and how I'm going to model it. So I wanted, so that's what I'm bringing now is that fourth commitment again on candor and being willing to be honest.
I love it.
Yeah.
I also,
I was just going to check in with Dawn. Frequently, you have bits of poetry and reading that you've come across in the week. Have you come across anything that is connected to candor and truth?
Not specifically this week, since you mentioned it, but I was just trying to, when you said that, I'm trying to pull in something by Emerson. I'm paraphrasing, but he talks about how you need to speak truth to the proud. It's not just good-naturedness that creates value. There's times when you have to speak up, and the vulnerability that you feel, the risk you feel in doing it, you have to feel that and go through that doorway anyway. You have to speak up. So not a specific quote, but I often lean back on Ralph Waldo for some wisdom about those kind of things. Yeah, when you need to speak up, sometimes, it could be a position that's very uncomfortable for you. It could be a boss, supervisor, whatever you want to call it. And you need to speak up. And it may be very uncomfortable in the present, but in the long run, it's going to make you it's most likely going to make you feel better about who you are and what you've done.
I love it.
There's two things that come to me from, I don't know who did the poem, but there's a saying somewhere. It's like, even if you're shaking, even if you're crying, even if you can barely get it out, speak your truth. And then there's a great song by Sarah Bareilles, which is be brave, say what you want to say. I want to see you be brave. And and the video is great. It's a whole, it's a really powerful thing about that. And I would love to pick a card if you guys are ready for that, but I'm also open for the conversation.
Maybe pick a card, but I want to ask Richard Ellsworth just joined us from the Braille Institute. And I wanted to ask Richard, frequently when you work with visually impaired students, you probably have to speak to them being brave about a situation. Are there any words of wisdom that you offer in order to help students be brave?
Yeah, well, what I often talk about is having an inner sense of self-confidence, and that confidence, if it is true, unshakable confidence, it often stems from an internal belief that no matter what is going to happen, that it's going to work out in the best way possible. That some way, somehow, it's all going to work out and it's all going to work to your advantage no matter what. And if you can come from that belief, you have unshakable confidence. And when you have that unshakable confidence, you can tackle anything and make anything work. And it's something, I kind of use it as a mantra throughout the day personally if I'm going through something that's a little bit challenging, or I get kind of an emotional response to something. I'll say, you know what, it's some way, somehow, it's all going to work out. Sometimes I'll even say it out loud to myself if nobody's around to hear me acting like a lunatic. But I tell my students this as well, because if they're going out into the world, or if they're, like I just taught cooking class, or if they're cooking, and a lot of them have anxiety over cooking over heat, and we talked about sauté today, and we talked about flipping things. If you've ever tried to flip something in a pan, the only way to flip something over in a pan is with confidence and intention. It is the only way to do it. If you don't have confidence, that thing's going to either not flip or it's going to fly out of the pan. But if you have that confidence in your conviction to make that happen, it's going to happen. And that applies to every single part of life. And when it comes to telling the truth, if you have the utmost unshakable confidence that no matter what, it's going to be in your best interest, telling the truth is not hard.
Pretty good.
We got 1 minute for a fast card.
Okay, so the card that flew out of the deck when I was getting ready for today was the Princess of Wands. And she's taking her tiger by the tail. She's really doing her shadow work. I think it's really powerful about really those things. It's like about really doing the stuff that you need to do. And on the bottom of the deck, since I stopped, was the Temperance card, which is the card of Sagittarius, which is where this new moon full solar eclipse happened this weekend, December 3rd and 4th. And it's a powerful time for transformation.
Woo! Let's end on that. Transformation. Hey, I want to just give a little bit of love to Mrs. Petrolino. She did the breakfast, lunch, and dinner when I was a little girl growing up, and she's just sent me a text, and she said, remember that to succeed in life, you need a wishbone, a backbone, and a funny bone. And I agree. I love you, Mrs. Petrolino. Stay tuned for more next week. God bless you all.
Nothing's gonna ever bring you down.